top of the arc. Schroeder started right, back to left, cross-court pass stolen by Roach. Here goes Snoop to the hoop. A two-hand throwdown. Texas up 12, 32-20 on TCU.
Weekly with Longhorns head coach Shaka Smart, and the guy who just went flying in for the two-handed slam off the steal is our special guest. And Shaka, I always like to have you tell a little bit about our guest and introduce him to everybody.
Well, we got a very, very special guest tonight, Kerwin Roach Jr., otherwise known as Snoop. And you saw that clip of him with the dunk the other night against TCU, and he's set the bar really high with his dunks so far. And I texted him that night after the game. I said, "You were getting ready to do something else, weren't you? You had something else in mind." But I also told him I'm just glad that he got the 2 points.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. What did you have in mind now? What were you thinking?
I already told you, 360 between the legs.
Oh, wow. Like slam dunk contest type of stuff.
Yep. I had to come back to reality, though.
All right. Now, speaking of reality, tell folks a little bit. First of all, you are a junior, Kerwin Roach Jr. Mm-hmm. So was your dad also Snoop?
He
wasn't Snoop.
He wasn't Snoop. He was really called Roach.
Yeah.
So that was the name for him.
Yeah. Okay. So tell everybody how the whole Snoop thing came about, because I've gotten a lot of questions. You know, I will introduce you on the air as Kerwin Roach Jr., and then when we get into the game, I'll say Snoop this or that or whatever, and folks say, "Well, I hear sometimes you call him Kerwin and sometimes you call him Snoop." I said, both are correct, but tell folks how Snoop came about.
There's so many in-family stories about it, like it's ridiculous, but two of them is me and my dad was so close, they thought it was Charlie Brown, I was Snoopy, like that type of relationship.
Good. I like that. Okay.
And back in the day when I had braids, everybody had braids. They said like Snoop Dogg. So.
Okay. All right. That's good. And Shaka, tell folks a little bit about the relationship you guys had started, but once you took the job, and not only did you have to visit with the current student athletes who were on campus, but you had to visit with the guys who were not yet on campus or were going to be a part of the program. And what was that like?
I think it was the first week. You know, when I got the job, it was a dead period, but then maybe a few days later, once it opened up, I went and saw Kerwin and his family, and Snoop, he has a big extended family. In fact, a couple months later, when they dropped him off in June for summer school.
Like how many people?
They set the record. I mean, it was the most, and it's great because it's just the level of support that he has behind him. But it was probably 15 people.
Yeah, like 4 cars deep.
Yeah, I mean it was a long group of people. But went in there, I got a chance to meet him. You know, I'd seen him play in AAU, but I never had the chance to talk to him. We actually tried to recruit him a little bit at VCU, but didn't have a lot of success there. So, you know, the great thing is he was actually at that point in the middle of track season, and was able to just start a relationship with him. And he's so good about communicating, you know, whether it's text or call. He always, gets back with you. And so it was relatively easy to build that relationship. And then ever since he got here in June, we've all, all the coaches and Snoop and all the freshmen, we've spent a lot of time together.
Snoop, one thing that people, especially in the media, I guess, but fans also, when there's a coaching change, they're always interested about the incoming freshman. Hey, is everything okay? Are they going to do this? You put that to bed right out of the gate. You said, I'm coming to the University of Texas. I'm coming to Texas to play basketball and to get an education as well. You seem very, very determined about that. I wanted to give you a chance to talk about that a little bit.
Oh, yeah. When I first committed, I just committed to the university. I fell in love with the university. I just love it. I didn't want to see myself nowhere else. And once I heard it was going to him, it just put the stamp on it.
What was your impressions of Coach Smart when what you'd heard about him, and then when you got a chance to meet him?
Oh, he plays real up-tempo, trapping. I remember seeing him in Houston when he was VCU Final Four, and I had to trap and play up-tempo. So that's something I really like because I played up-tempo my whole life. And he was just a player's coach. Like, he played he had, coach for the players. So.
Snoop won a state championship his junior year in high school and played for a really good program at North Shore High School. And how did you guys play, Snoop? What was your style of play that you guys used?
The exact style of him, but double fists and everything. So we copied his style.
Now, for folks who don't know, the state championship thing continues to run in the family with what just happened with football.
Yeah, my little brother, yeah, he won one.
I got a chance to call that on television, and in talking to his coach and talking to other people, they said, it's a great family. It's a great family, and it's a great athletic family. And then one of the other people on the conference call said, who was better? And he paused and said, I shouldn't answer that question. So you and your brother both have words about that, right?
Yeah, we do, but we all just thank my dad. My dad, like, really started to us, like, athletics, and my mom was about the books. So, like, we really come from a really good family, but my dad, like, he really put that competitor in us and to just go hard in everything we do.
Now, you're, if I remember correctly, a two-time triple jump state champion, right?
Two-time.
How much do you enjoy track and field?
It was really something I just really picked up. I realized I was good at it my freshman year. I just rolled with it. I really didn't practice with it too much. Just go out there and jump, and let my athletic ability just take me to another place.
Yeah, how did you wind up matriculating to triple jump? You know, because folks think about track stars, think about running, or maybe a long jump or a high jump. Triple jump doesn't necessarily leap to anyone's mind. How did it work for you to wind up as a triple jumper?
I tried high jump. I couldn't get up 6 foot because I was scared, so I just went to triple jump. It was something that not too many people could do, and I just seen it. Like, I could see myself doing it, and I tried it out. I was real good at it, so I just stuck with it.
Does that surprise you, Shaka, that a guy with his hops wouldn't excel in the high jump?
Well, he could high jump, but he could get up there pretty high if he needed to. I mean, one of the things about Snoop that you notice really early when you watch him play basketball is he moves differently than almost any basketball player out there, and that's why it's no surprise that he was so good at the triple jump, because in the triple jump, you're jumping twice with the same leg,
the same leg,
and then once with the other leg. So for 99% of us, that's really awkward movement and hard to do. Well, when you watch him do it, and you can go on YouTube and look up his jumps, he makes it look so smooth and easy. And that's the same thing that he does on the basketball floor, and he's doing more and more. So I'm excited because as this season's gone on and we're 20 games in, he's, number one, he does work every day after practice. Every single day after practice, he stays after. He's either working on his shooting, he's working on his ball handling, he's trying to get better. He watches the film of every game. He wants to watch his minutes and see what he can do to improve. And now you're starting to see more and more results of him playing better and better. And you tell us, I'd say a lot of it is a result of you playing with more confidence.
Yeah, Coach really just tell me to keep my head up. And, like, now I'm starting to put the plus sign on my hand just like he do. So it really just a reminder, like, play with your head up and keep a clear mind.
All right, Kerwin Roach Jr. Snoop is joining us during this portion of the program. We'll have more with him and head coach Shaka Smart. Longhorn Weekly continues here on the Longhorn Network and the Longhorn IMG Radio Network.
Leaks the kick to Prince eBay, and that is what the big fella does best. The steal from Isaiah Taylor, flipping it to Roach, and there's Kerwin Roach. Collins with the rejection from Prince eBay. 2 for 2. Was a switch. Oh, Prince eBay. Gobble it up. I mean, he's playing inspired basketball.
Here's a reminder there for you gearheads. Sign up for Speed Perks from Advance Auto Parts. The more you crank, the more you save. No cards, no points, no nonsense. Advance Auto Parts, let's get you back to the garage. We get back to Longhorn Weekly with head coach Shaka Smart. Kerwin Roach Jr., our guest during this portion of the program. Snoop, let me get your thoughts on the transition from high school basketball to college basketball. You're part of a state champion. You played at the highest level in high school. College is obviously a lot different. What was the biggest change that you had to adjust to when you arrived on campus in terms of basketball?
I had to say the speed of the game and the stamina. Like, everything's moving so fast, you kind of get worn out kind of quick. And so that's one thing that I really had to adjust to in the summer.
How much did the conditioning, because high school conditioning is different from college conditioning as well, so I know you had to get into all of that. Did you have to rethink and redo a lot of the ways that you went about conditioning simply because basketball conditioning is different from track conditioning and it's different college from high school?
Oh, yeah. Coach Roos really set us up to do good in the conditioning part. Like, it was no doubt. Like, going into the season, you're going to be in good shape. And it was more of that and eating right. I had to say eating right because I had to drink, like, way more water, just watch what I eat sometimes. And with those two, it really helped me.
Now, how does the training or conditioning differ for track and field and basketball, the things you have to do as a track athlete as opposed to a basketball player in training?
Track is really just worrying about yourself, I have to say. But like transition from track to basketball, you have to do what you do and make sure others do what they do. So that's like kind of the difference in it, I have to say.
Now, one thing that Coach Smart talked about was the fact that you and Tevin Mack and Eric Davis, the three of you freshmen, have gotten a chance not only to play together and to get to know one another. The three of you spent a lot of time on the court together in games during that as well. Given the freshman orientation things, we'll talk about that in a moment, what's the adjustment like for the three, and how close did the three of you freshmen become?
I think us being together so much during the summer really helped us on the court, especially like in practice. When we on the same practice squad, we're going against the upper dudes, the older guys. So it really helps. And I guess, I don't know, it's just chemistry, I guess. We all know one another and what one another wants to do, so it really translates to the on court.
And fans, of course, always want everybody's best interest at heart. Sometimes, they say, hey, I wonder why this guy didn't play more. I wonder why that guy didn't play more. And freshmen seem to hear it more than others because they just arrive on campus. Is that something that you and Eric and Tevin all have to just process and block it out of your mind when you go to work and prepare for a game?
Oh, definitely. You don't want no outside forces affecting your game, and want no outside ears or voices coming into your game either. You just want to have a clear mind. That's something that he always preached to, having a clear mind going into the game.
Tell everybody about freshman orientation. I've heard Coach Smart's take on it and how it works. Tell everybody from a freshman and from a student-athlete perspective what freshman orientation, and I'm not talking about freshman orientation when you arrive on campus. I'm talking about weekly freshman orientation that Coach Smart has with you guys.
Every time we do it, it's a thing, a helpful thing, useful thing that you can really take with you and like really, value. My favorite one is the one about Jimmy Butler, how he came from a junior college and now he's at where he's at now, how he just progressed. And that's like really the main message behind all of them, just progressing, and how don't let one season like really affect you and like outside voices, just being determined, just staying in the gym.
Because some of those lessons that he's teaching you are about guys that he's coached, and we're going to hear from one of them, and guys that might have started even slower than you guys have started off. You freshmen, I guess you take some inspiration from that.
Oh yeah, our recent one was one about Troy Daniels, and he coached him, and how his freshman year he really didn't play, sophomore year he really played, junior year played a lot, got hurt, senior year broke the record and all that, and now he's in the NBA, and he hit the game-winning shot for Sacramento, and like he just like Coach Smart like told us like you just progress and just stay clear mind, just something that can happen to you, and just have a clear mind.
All right, now I got to ask you these questions. We all know you can jump very high to get up here. How high up in the air can you jump? If you're jumping on a basketball court and you're running, you're jumping into it, how high up in the air can you get?
The video say touch the top of the backboard, so I really.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I really can do that.
I mean, do you regularly try to do stuff like that?
Oh, not really. I was really feeling it that day. I was really in a good mood that day.
Okay, now we had the joke about what you were thinking about doing on the steal when you were coming in, but does that come through your mind and the other guys' minds about if you get a breakaway, about how you'd like to do something along the lines of posterizing or something like that?
It definitely does, but then I got to realize I want the 2 points, so I just stick with it because I really don't want to miss a dunk wide open and just hit that buzzer come after you, so you coming out the game. So I don't want that at all, so I just put it in the basket.
You make that sound like that's happened to you before. Has that happened to you before?
AAU. AAU it has, but now it won't. I learned my lesson.
What do you like best about being a student athlete at
UT? I just like the everyday, day-to-day life of it, how it's really just school and basketball. Like, it's just school and basketball. I really like that lifestyle. There's really nothing else. You go to school, then you work out, and you just repeat. I really like that lifestyle.
Snoop, thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it. All right, it's Kerwin Roach. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up with Longhorn Weekly, live from Pluckers, the West Campus location. Continues in a moment.